shockingly bad MMO.
Gamers, I'm going to dunk on Crystal of Atlan. It is supposed to be an MMO. It's like a gacha game MMO, kind of like Tower of Fantasy. Not enough MMO, a little too much gacha. Let's have a chat about, is this game any good? No, it is not a good game. If you're looking for a good video game, there are so many other things that you could spend your time on than this one. I would never recommend someone spend their life playing this game. Okay, there are so many good free games you could play over this. There are so many paid games that you could play that are better than this. If I find out that you spent money on this game, I'm gonna snap. When you could have bought Expedition 33, okay? When you could have played Terraria. When you could have played Binding of Isaac, Faster Than Light, all the different games, Slay the Spire, all these things. Please, for the love of God, what is this game? It is an MMO-like experience where you're going to get different gear, and all the stats on the gear don't have any explanation of what they truly do or how much these stats matter. I don't know what 41 intelligence is and why it might be better to have more.
Before going into this, I will give my opinion on mobile MMOs. I think they're all shit. I don't think there's a single mobile MMO that I think is worth your time and worth your money. If you play it free to play, then it's good. Then at least you're not putting money into it, right? If you just need something that you want to try out and burn your time, go for it. But like, I would not put, if you're smart, you shouldn't put money into mobile MMOs. I do, because I'm fucking stupid. It's in the profile, by the way. All the stats are explained in the profile.
It doesn't explain it or really show it anywhere in the game. And for the most part, it just is number goes up, you are stronger.
That's
most of the
99%
combat
of mobile
in this
MMOs.
game is brain
It's just about
dead,
getting
easy,
your power
and
level
boring. I'm going to show you right now a couple of sections where I'm fighting some enemies, and I can essentially just roll my hand on the keyboard and I can win.
Is he even fighting something hard?
I think I'm doing good damage overall, but
Got called out for this video?
it just feels like I'm spamming.
Yeah, because he's making a MMO review video on at level 30. Mtashed lied about Crystal of Atlan. Here's the truth. Oh my god.
Alright guys, today we're going to be doing something I don't typically do when it comes to talking about games, especially a game like Crystal of Atlan that just recently released, and that is addressing some of the concerns, issues, and more specifically, drama that seems to be brewing very soon. Now, if you're not familiar with what I'm referring to, recently Mtashed
like experience where you're going to get different gear, and all the stats on the gear don't have any explanation of what they truly do or how much these stats matter. I don't know what 41 intelligence is and why it might be better to have more. It doesn't explain it or really show it anywhere in the game. And for the most part, it just is number goes up, you are stronger. Most of the combat
he didn't put the minimum
is...
Alright, so let's address this one because it's very clear that he didn't put the minimum effort of looking it up. And I'll explain it to him. And what's frustrating about this whole point he's trying to make is this is a very common thing in most games, and if you put the most minimum effort into it, you could have found this. So simply by pressing the Alt key, coming up to your character here on the top left, coming over to your attributes, which is very much spelled out to you. I feel like this menu is very easy to navigate if you
Why doesn't he at least show it?
Now, by the most
there
7% because of how much int that I have currently available.
There it goes.
Now, by the most stands of every single game that's ever been I've ever played, especially in the MMO genre, typically your stats will scale your abilities, and you can find how your stats and your abilities are affected by looking at the skill, which has an entire skill menu that you can easily navigate to, and simply coming down to where the skill effects tab is. This tells you that this skill, for example, specifically scales off of physical damage with core amplification damage. This is very unique to the Starbreaker, so you wouldn't know what this means unless you're a Starbreaker. But in terms of the actual scaling of how this class scales, let me stop you right there. People who play very insulting to the intelligence, a disingenuous way of presenting information, and I think that's very insulting to the intelligence of the audiences watching it.
Is PvP that you can do, and you can do it endlessly, but the rewards run out after about 2 matches, so realistically there's no reason. But how's the PvP?
Let me stop you right there.
Guys, just remember, I destroyed motherfucker. Hey, remember when I farmed Dazai in PvP 1v1? Bro's like this whole MMO, mobile MMO, like guru, plays it all the time, and then he queues up against me and I farm his ass. Oh, wasn't a good look for Dazai, you know?
People who play PvP for fun do not play for rewards. They play
It
for
wasn't
the
a
thrill
bot.
of
He was
facing
literally,
off against
he's
players
literally in
PvP.
chat.
That is the whole core concept
You're
of
running?
PvP.
Bro, that's literally all most of these arena PvP MMOs work as. You are waiting for cooldowns, and then you fish for a CC, and then when you get a CC, you combo. And if you don't get the CC, then you kite until you get a CC again. That's how you play. You don't play just Oonga boonga and run at them, okay?
If you're only playing
Kiting
for
is part of the
rewards and you're
game.
not interested in PvP, you're interested in being rewarded for something you're not interested in. Now, to you, we'll say PvP isn't for you, but I'll let him continue.
I've played about 10 matches, and it was very obvious from minute 1, it is not a good experience if you care about competitive games whatsoever. There's no real hit markers or area of
I think you
effect
just
markers
suck at
to
that.
show you where an ability might land. You have no idea what the opponent is going to do to you. There is
So let me
Okay, what he said there, right there is just he lacks experience on what other classes do, right? If you play any PvP game, if you play long enough, you start understanding what other classes do and other abilities which abilities exist, and then based off of that, you can get a pretty good idea as to what they're pretty much looking for to start their combo. A lot of PvP MMOs, right? They basically, most classes have one specific ability or two that are basically trying to fish the CC, right? The CC lock. And you just have to look out for those, dodge those, and then fucking play around it. But this is just a knowledge issue.
stop you right there because, once again, this feels a little weird of an argument to make that PvP is bad. First off, I want to be very clear that PvP is not a game mode meant for everyone. Not everyone's going to like PvP. Usually PvP players tend to enjoy it. The first point where you make that it doesn't make sense that the telegraphs are not there, I have never played a legit PvP focused game where you see hit markers. Only time I really see like indications of where spells tend to land is typically on the super dangerous, like super dangerous spells, or in PvE focused games. So I think it's kind of silly to
bro,
suggest
it's kind of
that.
farming this
Now the other thing
puppeteer.
is, I'm pretty sure Mtashed used to play games like Dota 2, and this is a great example. Now the other thing is, I'm pretty sure Mtashed used to play games like Dota 2, and this is a great example of this, where you'll see characters, and I'll just give you an example, 2 examples.
That's
like, for
hilarious.
example, Mars. You
I
have
love
no
that.
clue that Mars is going to cast a massive arena, and you
I
don't know
enjoy
the
games,
range of it.
kind
But the way you experience this impact, which you have many times, is by playing against the enemy. So if Mars blink into you, spear you to the tree, you're not going to be surprised that he's going to call his arena because you've experienced it multiple times. And it doesn't have a floor indicator to tell you that he's going to do it. You just learn it from playing the game and just being aware of it. The whole argument that because it didn't tell you how the enemy's going to fight is just straight up silly. There's 11 total characters available. It takes time to learn it. There's a full-fledged practice arena that I'm gonna try to assist
what I was saying.
and help you. Under the same skill tab you missed. The game is bad, but you inherently are just playing just horribly.
Area of effect markers to show you where an ability might land. You have no idea what the opponent is going to do to you. There is almost zero show of a move that is coming out, and you essentially just get ghost blasted and sucked up into the air by attacks that you cannot counter. Whoever has the best ping will win this, and there is no skill.
Okay, to be fair though, most PvP MMOs that I've ever played, ping always mattered. I don't think there's a single PvP MMO I played where ping doesn't matter. Ping is always important.
A little bit of skill with dodging, but essentially if you get tagged by an ability, you just get sucked up into a vortex and everyone will combo you. And
We're gonna jump back into Crystal of Atlan, and just how you had a problem reading the menu here, I'm gonna try to
E7
assist
though?
and help
How is
you.
E7
Under the
a
same skill
PvP
tab you missed
MMO?
before, there's a separate PvP
It's a turn-based
effect.
PvP game,
And under
idiot.
this tab, it tells you exactly how PvP works. Now, before I explain this, I want to be very clear to the audience watching this, not Mtashed, because I think he knows this. Every single game that typically has a PvP system typically has some type of armor system. And the way that it works is certain
Super armor.
armors have different type of resistances to each other. If you've ever played Street Fighter, I played it when I was a kid. I'm sure a lot of you have played it. It has a very similar thing. For example, this skill here has something called weak super armor and weak armor break. And what this means is if I hit you with a normal attack that doesn't have any protect armor and weak armor break, this means that this skill, if you were to punch me at the same time, armor has super armor, and then this skill here would not be able to pierce it because the main will skill and jump it down by single character.
Wow,
There's 11 of them present, so it's going to take you time to
thunk.
learn it. But it is very disingenuous to suggest that there's no counter.
Now, is the game pay to win? Not necessarily. In PvP, some things are normalized, and some abilities don't have the crazy effects because they would
Now, if I actually did play this game, I would drop it the moment Star Resonance came out. 100%. Because at the end of the day, like, visually, this MMO has every visual marker for a mobile MMO that you should just play for, like, a couple of weeks or a month because you're bored and then drop it. Like, literally looks like one of those mobile MMOs.
Too OP. However, it is pay to win in the sense
it's not an MMO, it's a fucking gacha. Pretty sure those two can both coexist, right? You do realize gacha is a monetization system, not a game genre, it's not like you know how there could be turn-based gacha, action-based gacha, open world gacha, waifu collector gacha, dress up gacha, right? It's like a payment type monetization system
of buying progression and buying stats. You can get these artifacts or ornaments or whatever you want to call
Skins.
it, and they are stat boosting. So you can get titles. You can get these little outfit titles, and this is something that will go above your head. So your name will be like Mtashed, the Supreme One.
A lot
and
of
it just
mobile
gives you
MMOs
more
do this.
Stats. And again,
it's pay to win. It is pay to win. I 100% believe it's pay to win.
it's not clear how much these stats are, but it's
Skins are farmable, by the way. How long does it take? Like, if it isn't something you could do like within like a day or two, and it takes like weeks, I'd say it's pay to win. Because if someone could just fucking insta swipe and just get this instantly and just like have giga stats, then
double what this rarity is. And it also
2
has
days
physical attack
to get the whole
rate.
set.
It gives you some other things. Attacks have a 30% chance to deal 10% more damage. They also have pets. And the pets...
I know it's for PvE. As far as I understand, PvP in this game is balanced, right? Yes. Yeah. PvP is balanced. I played it in the beta. PvP is balanced. Most of the stats should be PvE.
Crazy! Dude, the pets are insane! 16% more overall
It's
damage.
not balanced?
A heal built into this
PvP,
pet.
as far as I saw, is
Extra attacks,
normalized.
a
Yeah,
juggle
it
that
is.
knocks enemies
Doesn't
near.
say watch
Like,
stoops.
It's stupid how crazy these pets are.